why the deep divide as far as the imposition of president rules, sir? And second, doctor, is that why do you think that there is less trust as far as the police is concerned?
See, people who do not trust the local police want president rule, and then people who do not trust the armed forces, particularly the Assam Rifles, do not want president rule. Or there are other sections for various vested political reasons would like to have president rules. Question is, are we going to have a vote on this? Are we going to have a vote, a referendum on this, whether to have president rules or not? I think this is quite impractical. But the manner how the previous speaker has spoken, the Home Minister has just arrived and has announced some packages. Let's give him some time. The Home Minister, I would say, the government of India must be having all the intelligence, all the full knowledge. They are the best one to decide whether the situation could be controlled in a week or more. Let's give them a chance. If the situation goes out of control, obviously, I think government of India will decide for either president rule or for continuation of the system. So it is beyond our purview to decide. Well, we can express our opinion, but I think opinions divide. If we have to speak for or against, then the only vote will decide, the referendum will decide. But regarding the trust on the Manipur police, see, it's a long issue, long issue. I mean, it's very complex. It's very complex, I should be saying. See, in all these activities like destructions of poppy cultivations, destructions of encroachers from the reserved and the protected forest, and even in population survey, or even in so many activities, the police has always been used as a force to accomplish the objectives already decided by the government. So whenever there is a protest or whatever it is always the police who come into direct encounter with the people, either in the valley or in the valley. In fact, Manipur always has been almost like a police state, in fact, and there is huge militarizations that we all know. So maybe some people who thinks that their interests are being hurt by the activities of the police, who act as the backbone of the government, maybe they would obviously be, be not satisfying with the police. They may not want the activities of the police. And in fact, in the ongoing current crisis that's going on, we heard that that's one side of the story. We heard that police have been quite inactive in protecting vulnerable villages, particularly in the peripheral of the peripheral areas of the villages, and they think that the police are not active. So like people took the law into their own hand, and for that reasons, some certain sections of the population believes that the police are in collaborations with the rioters or whatever it is, with the forces in the valley. So like for all these reasons, I think certain sections of the people have lost faith and trust with the Manipur police.
Dr. Malem, I would also want to ask you, that the Home Minister, because, there have been a conflicting views, and, if you want to be impartial, you have to understand, from where a person comes from and all his securities and insecurities have to be weighed in before you make a value judgment. Doctor, I would want to understand from you that you feel that, the way the Home Minister spoke about the border fencing, which was, many people also spoke about to curb illegal migrants coming from Myanmar into India. And also the fact that, now there is one unified command which has been set under Kuldeep Yadav, who's a Kuldeep Singh, I beg your pardon, who is the former DG CRPF. Do you think this one unified command will also instill a sense of faith as far as, both these tribes are concerned?
You see, you're talking about border fencings and checking of illegal immigration, right? What is your question exactly? I mean, I'm not getting into it. Hello?
There are talks of border fencing also, which the Home Minister has announced, and the Home Minister has also announced that that he will be there's a unified command under Kuldeep Singh. So, do you think that this border fencing will stop one of the big problem, and also this unified command will instill faith in people who do not believe in the police and all? There are two
I don't
questions here
know. I
actually.
mean, I don't exactly know. Just now I got a news saying that the DG the DG P. Dongel has been replaced with Sri Rajib Singh. That's the latest news that I got. I don't know how far it's going to restore the people's faith. I don't know. I mean, but border fencing, it's a very complex issue. There are two issues. One, where are you going to erect the fencing? That has been a very contesting issue. There are contestants saying that the borders have been installed at the cost of Manipur's exact territorial boundary. That's one thing. And number two, border fencing, how powerful and impregnant border fencings are we going to create? Do we have the resource, or will it be practically enforceable? I don't know. But for checking illegal immigrants, there has to be other mechanisms, plus confidence building among the peoples who are being identified either as indigenous peoples and the permanent residents let out by the government of Manipur, which was released in 2021 or 22, I think. So there has to be certain common meeting grounds among different stakeholders to check immigrations. It has to be a larger issue. It's when we talk about immigrants, it's not simply about those coming from the Myanmar side. There are also other sections and other groups which need to be checked if we are seriously concerned about being over dominated, demographically dominated by the outsiders. Then this has to be something that all the indigenous peoples and the permanent residents in Manipur have to collectively sit together and work out. Otherwise, I think any mechanical attempt will not going to work out in the long run without taking the peoples into considerations.
Okay. Hasina, you heard Dr. Malem, you heard before him General Meston. I would want to understand from you that, that all this, earlier the chief minister was known as the mighty chief minister, and Congress and other parties also wanted to get in, because, I mean, your political parties, you know how it pans out with them. The fact is that, do you see the measures which has been initiated by Home Minister Amit Shah, where he's talking of a unified command under one person, and also announcing the CBI investigation as well as a judicial investigation into all the claims and the counterclaims. Do you think this will help settle the massive distrust which is between the community? These measures announced by the Home Minister will further enhance, what the central government want to say as far as the situation in the state of Manipur is concerned, ma'am?
I think the distrust is already so vast at this moment. If we go on going down in issues of distrust, it will never be able, to solve the entire conflict and the violence that has taken place. But then I think with the central government intervention, and I think the visit of the Home Minister coming down with a package of reconciliation, a package of relief, and all of that, I think that should be the next step forward, where stakeholders of the affected communities, I have repeated even in the past, come together and see how the reconciliation can be taken forward. I think that's a very important part. I think right now we have we have all the uniformed personnel, I think active participation in serving the ongoing violence, bringing all the relief that is required at the state where there's a lot of challenges and difficulties. They have to see how they can coordinate with the stakeholders as well, so that there's more of community engagement, because anything that has more of community engagement and stakeholders engagement, it brings a much more, I would say, a better communication for any kind of peace reconciliation. So I think that is an important part of the next way forward. Going and digging back of what has happened, the different opinions about the communities, about the distrust among the communities. We have seen it, we have heard it. There are a lot of it that if we go on diving into that situation, we cannot take a step forward where the community require eagerly, to have this kind of a peaceful support for the people who are mostly affected. So I think that is a point that I brought again and again for the last 1 month. And having worked with the communities and working with the community even at this point through our state partners, we know what are the needs at the moment. There's a need of immediate response to the package that has been announced with coordination of community stakeholders coming together so that there's more of a reconciliation communication among the communities. Yes, with the uniform personnel giving all the additional support so that there's no breakdown of any further violence. That's the need of it. Looking at how the central can be in a constant touch with the state so that any kind of different opinion does not arise. There has to be the neutral engagement at this point of time.